Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of the new state controller. So the state controller is meant to help design things like quests where you have multiple logical chains of controllers controlling the various phases of the quest. So in our little example here, we have two phases to the quest represented by these two chains of controllers here. And so the first chain here is a speech sensor and a state controller. The second chain is a speech sensor, a check state controller, and a music controller. So the objective here is to say the word that is required by the speech sensor. In this demo, it's banana. And then say the word indicated by this speech sensor, and in our demo here it's fruit. Now it's important to note here that these don't have to be speech sensors. They could be levers or switches or toll controllers or conditionals. Anything that sends a signal based on some condition being met will work. So what we're doing here, though, is that in many of our quest scenarios, a player might need to have an item on them, say a fish or a fishing pole, or they might need to be a player mobile, or maybe the mobile needs to be a sheep or a zombie. What ends up happening, though, is often those checks need to be made again because there's no convenient way to save the state, the success state of a previous query. Does this person have a fish? What we'd like to do is just save the fact that they've satisfied this phase of the quest. Okay, so we're going to do that here. Our state controller will, if I say banana, my state controller will simply save the fact that I successfully met the condition, whatever that condition is. All right. Then in the second phase of the quest, I am supposed to say the word fruit. Okay. And what's going to happen is the check state controller will simply ask the state controller, so far so good. Did they answer the previous question? Did they satisfy the previous requirement? Did they have the item they were supposed to have? And if that succeeds, then we'll move on to the music controller, which will play our happy victory music, meaning we won the quest. Okay, so let's just give it a try. I've set up, for fun here, on our check state controller, this guy here, the second one in the second phase of the quest, an else condition. And what this means is that if, for instance, I didn't do the first part of the quest, then it's going to else over here to the failure case, which is another music controller which plays death music. So let's do that first. So the answer here is fruit. Maybe somebody at the West Britain Bank told me that, yeah, the whole quest, just go and say fruit, that's it, okay? All right, so I'm getting my death music, which means I did not do the quest. The earlier phases needed to be completed, so we're here. Okay, let me cancel that. Okay, so now I start over. I'm going to play the quest the right way. So imagine we have an NPC here and he's asking me to name, for instance, a tropical fruit. I try a few things. I finally get it right. Banana. Okay. I don't have any feedback here, but you can imagine the NPC saying, good job. Now why don't you tell me what a banana is? So I try a couple things and I come up with fruit. Okay, so we win the quest. I'll cancel this. So what happened was when I said banana, it set the state controller to be true, basically, saying that I had finished this phase of the quest. Then in the second phase of the quest, the check state controller just verified that we had done the first part, and since we had, it moved on to the third part, which was success. And these can be daisy chained out and deep as you want. There can be multiple state controllers, there probably will be for each phase of the quest, so that the next phase only needs to check back to the previous one to know if it should continue. Okay, so that's the basic machinery of it. It eliminates the need for subsequent phases of the quest to again check for items you might have on you. You're carrying a fish, you're a sheep. All those things can be boiled down to the success or failure of that chain or that phase of the quest into a true false, which can then be checked in subsequent phases. Okay, so quickly, there's a couple features here that at your disposal. I'll go over those. The first one is scope. So by default, the system comes up at mobile scope. This simply means that as many mobiles as want to play the quest can, it remembers each mobile's success or failure individually, and 10 players can play at the same time, however many. But you may have a scenario where you only want one player to play the quest at a time. First come, first served. So in that case, you would just set this to one at a time, and this blocks other players from entering the quest while somebody else is playing it. Okay, so that's scope. The other thing the state controller has is a memory. So it's basically a timeout. It's saying how long you have to complete the quest. So for this quest, I give the player 10 minutes from the time he says banana till the time he says fruit. If he doesn't get fruit, then the state controller will forget about him. And to the system, it looks like he did not complete phase 1 of the quest, and he will go over here to the death music. You can actually add another check state controller here to determine whether he just timed out or the answer was incorrect for some reason. But for simplicity, we just leave that out of it. The other thing that we have here that you're probably going to want to leave on is the check state controller. It defaults to reset on success. This is because once you get to the final leg of the quest, you've answered all the questions, you've brought all the items, whatever it is you want to do. Let's say you're just supposed to say fruit. It will keep giving you the reward or the music, whatever it is, because we haven't reset on success. So what reset on success does is basically, after you win, after you satisfy all the phases of the quest, it resets the state controller so that you're basically forgotten and you need to rerun, you need to go through the whole quest again if you want to play. Okay, so that's the basics. It eliminates the need of rechecking items and types of mobiles and things of that nature throughout the quest. You just have these little waypoints basically that indicate success or failure of that particular leg of the quest, and should simplify building quests greatly. All right, that's it. Bye.